Welcome to History Clips. Today we're going to talk about the changeover from ancient history and how they used to think to a more modernistic viewpoint of society and how people should live, and that is known as the Renaissance.
Now, what we find happening after the Black Death is this disease had killed half the world's population, and included in that casualty list was a large number of royal family members and priestly class officials. And these were the linchpins that kind of held society together. They guided it. They were the judges. They were the people in charge, kind of steering people, telling them what to do. And now a new group of people are going to have to step up to try to start assuming those responsibilities.
If it please your grace, Lady Sansa is
No.
very tired.
No, you'll wait here.
Your grace.
There's nothing.
He's choking!
Calm the poor boy. Idiots, help your king!
Wait!
Joffrey!
Now, not all the royal families died. There's still a lot of them that survive. However, because a lot of people were dying, a lot of people start looking to themselves for answers instead, and it becomes a much more independent-minded community or society.
And people, further than that, philosophically, start looking at these priests and these kings as you're nothing really special. You claim to have royal blood inside you, but the Black Plague killed you just as easily as it killed us commoners. And people are going to start to realize perhaps there's some type of equality and fairness amongst humans.
So, what made to you so special?
Nothing. I'm just a kid from Brooklyn.
Now, there's going to be a lot of changes in the Renaissance. A couple things you need to understand is before the Renaissance, there was no such thing as pressing the print button on your computer or anything like that. Every single word, every single letter had to be handwritten if you wanted to copy something. That made books extremely expensive and extremely hard to get a hold of.
Mr. Essay, I say, prepare to be written! I'm doing it! I'm doing it! Yeah! Yeah! In some of these, in some of these. Almost there, and done. Now let's see how it looks so far. The break time!
Now something is going to change in the literary world. Something that has been called one of the greatest inventions in human history, even more so than the fire, the wheel, or atomic weapons. And that is Gutenberg's movable type printing press. And with that, he can now take solid metal blocks in the shapes of letters, and he can rearrange them to spell out any word, any sentence that he wants it to. And now books can be made much quicker, they can be made much cheaper, and they're now more available to everyone.
Free patties for everyone!
Thanks to Gutenberg's movable type printing press, people could acquire knowledge much more easily. They can get books cheaper, and it's a lot easier to get your ideas out as well.
And with this, people can also learn new skills. So instead of just being a farmer for the rest of their lives, they can learn a variety of skills and make even more money.
Aardvark, Abyssinia, Adam Duck, Adam Duck, Adam
Holy crow, you can read!
Input. More input!
Now, during the Renaissance, a philosophical movement called humanism will start to grow. And what humanism's chief goal is, or chief ideal, is they stress critical thinking and reasoning over blind faith and obedience.
And this becomes a situation of the idea of fact over superstition.
These are facts, and facts don't care about your feelings.
And his great-grandpa was Thomas Griffin, a great philosopher.
Thomas, would you please go look for a job?
Why?
Popular culture starts looking to these ancient texts, the ones that are being made on the printing press, as a way of looking to the ancient Greeks and the ancient Romans and trying to recopy their beliefs, and that includes art, architecture, and history.
It will cheer you up. It's called the Ugly Barnacle. Once there was an ugly barnacle. He was so ugly that everyone died. The end.
That didn't help at all.
Now, just as today, I am considered a perfect man because of my good looks, skill at lifting weights, and knowledge of all things science fiction, back then in the Renaissance time, a Renaissance man, or a perfect man, was considered someone who was very skilled in the arts, drawing, sculpting, mathematics, history, inventing, and could speak multiple languages. As I said earlier, they become termed a Renaissance man.
There's a lot more where this came from. If you go to the dance with me, yours truly, Napoleon Dynamite. Took me like 3 hours to finish the shading on your upper lip. It's probably the best drawing I've ever done.
During the Renaissance, you also have a rise of upper and middle class people, and they become what we know as patrons. Patrons are people that pay artists to make works of art, and you have a lot of really great art come out during this time frame.
As you can see by our lifelike representation of the Mona Lisa on this blackboard.
She wasn't blonde, though.
Unlike our art in this background, which is merely rendered in simple 2D, art of the Renaissance time was known for being able to use the 3D perspective. At the same time, the art was more simplistic and more defined when it came to human facial features.
How about a perfect circle? Do it again. Show your process.
Well, first I draw this head, then I erased some of the more detailed features. And 1, 2, 3, a circle thing.
Another major form of art change is in sculpting. Sculpting before the Renaissance was normally built in part of the building itself, whereas during the Renaissance, sculpting becomes independent of buildings and becomes extremely important artwork.
Look at your marble. Visualize the sculpture within. Then, gently.
How's this, Squidward?
It's beautiful. This isn't a sculpture. A good sculpture takes more time.